Alright guys, we're going to continue the maintenance series today. We got a little bit of remnants of Irma coming through, so I really can't ride. So I thought we would do another installment of the maintenance series here. In my first video about the air filters, I talked about the three main components of what makes an engine run. It's fuel, air, and spark. Today we're going to check out the spark part of that. We're going to check our spark plugs for proper gap. We're going to read the spark plug. A spark plug can kind of tell you how your engine's running, if it's running lean or rich or just right. We can take a look at the spark plug and tell a lot about the engine and what's going on just by looking at the spark plug. So in order to do this, we're going to need a few things. You're going to need a ratchet. You're going to need a 5/8 spark plug socket, a gapper, a torque wrench, and some anti-seize lubricant, and a shop rag. I will leave a link in the description for all this stuff for you if you don't have it. The gapper is really handy, so they're very inexpensive and it's a good tool to have. If we got those tools, we have our service manual. Let's get to the bike and get after it. All right, so here we are, the right side of the motor. This is my distributor. I have this relocated. The stock one is usually located up here, so mine's down here. So if you don't have this, it's no big deal. You have stock versions up here. Wires are still the same. So what we want to do is we want to pull the wire off. Now make sure, guys, when you pull these off, do not get these mixed up. You don't want to put the front one on the back or the back one on the front. That's bad news. So mine's easy because it's set like this, but with the stock, the short wire always goes to the front, the longer wire goes to the back. So pretty simple. All right, and before you pull out a spark plug, you want to make sure that your area is clean around here. If you have debris and dirt and things like that when you pull that spark plug, you do not want that going down in your cylinder, because once you remove this, you are right in the cylinder and the piston area of the motor, and you don't want any type of debris going down there. Mine's all clean, so let's pull it out. Take our 5/8 socket, stick it on there, and spin it out. All right, so we are out. Here is the spark plug itself. Now what we want to look at is the area right in here. So it's going to kind of give us some clues of how our engine is running. What we're looking for is a little black right around the edge and some, some gray fluffiness at the top. And what that's telling me is that I'm running a pretty balanced combustion. If this is all black around here at the top, sorry for the focus, guys, this is not wanting to focus in. But if this is all black and around in here is black and it's shiny, that means you're getting way too much fuel. You're running very rich. And on the flip side, if this is real fluffy and gray and tan, and you don't see any of the blackness around here that you do with this, then you're running lean. But what you're looking for is just a little black around the edge, gray fluffiness on the actual piece there. So what I like to do at this point, I just take a brush and just clean them off. The next thing we're going to do is check for gap. So in order to do that, first we need to know what our gap is. Our gap on a stock spark plug for the Harley 883 is anywhere between 0.038 to 0.043. So how we check that, we put our gapper in, we spin it around, right there is where it touches. So I'm at 0.040, which is well within spec, so I'm properly gapped. It is very important that you all have a correct gap on your spark plug. So after we've done that, we've checked the gap, gap's good, we've cleaned it off, let's get it back in the bike. So what I do, I get some of this anti-seize lubricant and I just put a little bit, that is it. I just put a little bit of this anti-seize on the threads. It doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. That's sufficient. You want to make sure you don't get any anti-seize on your electrode here. You just want it on the threads. Make sure your washer's in place, and let's go ahead and get this installed back in the bike. And guys, you want to start these things by hand. You do not want to cross thread your spark plug. But get it started by hand, it should be free, and then we just spin it back in place, just like that. And with that anti-seize, that's going to guarantee that when it comes time to pull these out again, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to come right out. These things take a lot of heat, and that anti-seize really helps it stay lubricated, so it comes out pretty easy. The next thing we want to do is we want to torque it down. So our torque specs on this is 12 to 18 foot-pounds. So I'm going to set mine at 18 foot-pounds and go ahead and torque this down. Again, just take your torque wrench right there. So that is a properly torqued spark plug. Then we just put our cable back on. When we put the cable back on, I'm going to wipe this off, make sure I don't have any lubricant on it. You're going to hear a little click and you're done. After that, you just repeat the process on the back cylinder. If your spark plugs are worn, they look old, they're just really grimy and dirty, it's a good idea to go ahead and put fresh ones in there. Spark plugs are inexpensive and they really do matter when it comes to the performance of the bike. So you want to make sure you have good spark plugs, clean spark plugs. Lubricate them with that anti-seize lubricant before you put them back in. Torque them down to specs and you will be good to go. We're going to go back up to the bench and I'm going to show you gapping procedure again so we can just get a little bit better view of that. Alright, we're just going to do this gapping procedure one more time so you get a little bit better view. Okay, so what we're looking for in this gap is 0.038 to 0.043. Alright, so how we get this gap, if you see this little area right here, that's what we're gapping. So how we do that is you take our gapping tool, we slide it in, and we turn it just until it catches. It's caught right at 40.040. So that is the perfect gap. So that is properly gapped. If it's not, you can take this little tool, it's got a little area here where you can pry this up, or you just push it back down in order to get the proper gap. Now what we were talking about earlier about reading a spark plug. So when we're looking at this one, this is an older one. It was black. This is still in pretty good shape. It's gray, tan, and a little powdery. So this was running at a pretty good combustion rate. This was pretty balanced. If you look at it, and this is solid black, and this is black, and it's got a shine to it, that means we are running very rich. I'm not focusing very well today, and I apologize. I don't know what is going on. But if it's a light brown and it's glassy looking, and there can also be cracks down in here in the insulator, that's telling me at that point you are running way too lean, your engine running's hot, and you have improper ignition timing also. So there's a lot of things to be going on if you're running something like that. Light brown, glassy, you have some cracking going on from heat and whatnot on the electrode itself, then you got some problems going on. But most of the time you pull them out, you have this light, you know, black here, a little tan, a little gray and powdery on the top, which means you're running the way that you should, a perfectly balanced motor. These guys are very inexpensive and, like I said, very important. You always want to check these on a periodic basis. I mean, you don't have to do it every month or anything like that, but you know, every 3 or 4 months I like to pull mine out, read the spark plug, kind of gives me an idea how my engine's running. I'll check the gap, and if there's any damage to the electrode or if it's worn down, I'll replace them. Without these, your engine will not run. And if these aren't properly gapped, or if they're old, your engine's going to run just like that. I mean, keep new spark plugs in your engine, guys. It really does help. And again, the service manual here will tell you everything you need to know. It'll go over all that reading of the spark plug that I just went over. It's going to give you your gaps. It's going to give you your torque values to get them back in. Check your spark plug, guys. They're important. And that's about all that I have today for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button for me below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. We're going to be doing a lot more of these maintenance series coming up. And when the weather breaks, I'm going to get back on the bike and get some moto vlogs going for you. So, like always, guys, ride safe and be careful out there. Later.